Yeah, with that rant of Disney's The Jungle Book 2 out of the way in an earlier upload, let's take a look now at Khumba, which was released back in 2013, and something tells me that this film is going to be such a doozy to review. Anyways, let's get on with it. The film was directed by Anthony Silverston. It was produced by Mike Buckland, Stuart Forrest, Jean-Michel Koenig, James Middleton, and Anthony Silverston. It was also written by Anthony Silverston alongside Raffaella Della Donne, and it stars J.T. Austin, Steve Buscemi, Loretta Devine, Lawrence Fishburne, Richard E. Grant, Anna Sophia Robb, Catherine Tate, Liam Neeson, Charlie Adler, D. Bradley Baker, and Carrie Payton. Now, I did not have high hopes for this film. In fact, I set my expectations very low. As I was reading through the in-flight magazine when I was on board my flight from Buenos Aires to Paris, before my final destination being Berlin, I stumbled upon this film and thought to myself, man, the character designs look totally plain and simple, and they look nothing special. But I was still willing to give this film a try. Maybe there was something good to come out of it. And with my cynicism overriding my usual optimism for any film, it shows that this film was below mediocre. It is just way, way, way mediocre. In fact, I wouldn't say that it was really worth my time. It was just a pure example of mediocrity taken to the lowest common denominator. And I mean it in the worst possible way. And that leads us to the story. Predictable, predictable, predictable. That is just one word I can think of such a story like Khumba. Where have I seen a story like one person who feels so outcasted by the rest of his herd, by the rest of the people around him, by the rest of the, people or animal of the same kind as him? I've seen this in works like Ugly Duckling. I've seen works of ostracization from the likes of The Lion King. I've seen works so similar to this. And this is definitely nothing new for me. This is really boring, and I cannot even take every single bit of the story. In fact, I slept. Yes, I slept midway through this film, not only because I was tired from all the long hours of me being on the plane, but also because of the fact that this film was boring me to death because of its predictability and the fact that I can really see this plot a mile away. You don't do that. Yeah, this film is so paper thin in its story that you can really calculate everything without the use of a calculator. And you can even cut through the story with a butter knife. That is how predictable the story is. Not to mention, it jumps from arc to arc. In one scene, we have Khumba trying to find himself. In the next scene, we have some of his herds worrying, where the hell is he? So yes, this story feels like a huge mashup of The Ugly Duckling, The Lion King, Madagascar, and many other films before its time. Hell, this makes The Wild seem very, advanced, and even makes it seem like Citizen Kane in comparison with Khumba. And now let's get to the animation. The animation for this film was done by, let me scroll down right here. It was done by Triggerfish Animation Studios. And, you can never expect anything of Pixar quality from this movie because, like I said, the character designs are very plain and very, very cheap looking. Yes, the effects can be good, but, that's all it has going for. It's not bad, nor is it extremely horrible. It's just there. And it's not really like Pixar or even that of DreamWorks, where the quality is beyond flawless and beyond beautiful. This is just, well, mediocre, just like its story, but at least the animation is a step above the story. Whereas the story, forget it. Forget the story. The story could have been any better. It could have been more original, but it just had to be so hackneyed. The characters are so uninspired. Khumba is your typical black sheep. He feels so left out. How many characters have I seen in anime, in Western animation, in live action have I seen this type of trope before? How many types of characters have I seen this person before? He doesn't really have any personality. Yes, he is the everyday nice guy who is a lot more different than his pride, but, well, he's just that. He just doesn't have that much personality. Oh, and his love interest, whose name is... Let me check her name. You see, that's how forgettable these characters really are, if you can call them characters. Her name, Tombi. No personality whatsoever, other than that she's a girl, and she is pretty much a tomboy. So yeah, she doesn't really have any personality to speak of. The only two characters that have a little bit of personality are basically the Timon and Pumbaa of this movie, who are the ostrich, Bradley, and Mama V, the wildebeest. Yeah, these two are like Timon and Pumbaa, albeit only more boring and not that much of personality. Whereas Timon and Pumbaa's personalities were zany, Mama V's and Bradley's were annoying, especially Bradley's, and do not even get me started on his ostracized song. Jesus Christ, is that song annoying. It is such an annoyance, I feel like I want to shoot Bradley and have him for dinner. Yeah. He just doesn't really have that much charm in his character. He bored me to death. Mama V... Yes, she does have a shred of personality, but other than that, she's just the sassy black woman in the guise of a wildebeest. Nothing more, nothing less. And the other likable character, even though she is criminally underused and dies in the first part of the damn movie, is none other than Khumba's mother. Well, Khumba's mother... Lucy, yeah, Khumba's mother. I forgot her name already. Let me just check what her name is. Sorry. Oh, Lungisa. Yeah, I definitely feel that these characters are extremely forgettable. Lungisa is another likable character, but her problem is that she only exists in the first damn half of the film, and she has to die. Oh, and she's also voiced by Annika Nani Rose. Yeah, very sad. And lest I forget about the villain. Yeah, his name is... The villain's name is Fango. Yeah, think of Sabor, only without the ferocity, and think of Scar. Yeah, he's just another generic ass type of villain who is a brooding bastard. And he has the same problem as Scar, meaning he has only one eye. Yeah, yes, I know he has a tragic backstory, and I'll give him that. You see, this is what happens when your villain is a lot more likable than your main hero, even though he has the same problem. This is writing fail 101. This is how you fail in writing, making the villain a lot more likable and a lot more sympathetic than the hero, even though he's supposed to appear like a stone-cold bastard. Oh, and don't get me started on those rock rats or something like that. They're known as Dassies. They are the most annoying things ever. My God, every time they chant, It is just so ear bleeding. I want to just scream at them, shut the fuck up, you little shitheads! Yeah, I know I swore, but still. I cannot believe those little bastards ended up being on screen just for the fact that they're being so goddamn annoying. Really. Just wow. Wow. Never have I seen characters this annoying than the likes of DW from Arthur. Yeah, they're a lot more annoying than her. And when you have characters that are a lot more annoying than DW, you fail miserably. And the Daci's exceed at failing as characters. And speaking of such characters like that, let's talk about the acting. Now, the acting in this film isn't really terrible. In fact, they do try their best. I mean, Jake T. Austin does play Khumba's insecurities very well. In fact, I was pretty surprised that was Jake T. Austin. I was almost expecting someone a little bit older than him. It kind of shows that time flies, and Anna Sophia Robb does do a good job playing Tombi's spunky nature, but other than that, their talents were wasted. And don't get me started on the other talents like Lawrence Fishburne, Annika Noni Rose, Steve Buscemi, Richard E. Grant, Loretta Devine. Jeez, this talent is so wasted. And don't even get me started on Charlie Adler's, Carrie Payton's, and Dee Bradley Baker's performances as the Dacis. My god, I really feel sorry for these voice actors having to voice these little shits. Especially for Carrie Payton, who's very well known for voicing Cyborg. What the hell is he doing voicing these little pieces of crap? The same thing can be said about Charlie Adler and Dee Bradley Baker, two of the most respected and, well, versatile voice actors in Western animation. Hell, these two even have the honor of being men of 1,000 voices. So hearing them deliver such crappy chants is just so pitiful. So yes, the actors do try their hardest in their situation, but with the amount of, with this star-studded cast, it's just so unbearable just hearing such crappy dialogue, especially coming from the likes of Adler, Baker, and Payton, as those little shits of Dacis. But even if several factors of this movie falters, there is one thing that saves it, though not entirely by a long shot. The music. Now, save for Ostracized, and even the final song used in the credits, this movie really knows how to use music, just like its predecessor, The Lion King, which makes sense because this film was made in South Africa, was produced in South Africa, so they had to make the music as authentic as possible. This is the only saving factor, though not entirely by a long shot. So yes, with such beautiful music and some okay animation, it is not enough to save this film from such crap, from such miles and miles of mediocre-ass crap. And seriously, this is just so disappointing on so many levels. In fact, I consider this film somewhat on par with Tarzan 2013. But you know what? Looking back, I consider Tarzan 2013 worse than this pile of shit. Because you know what? What made Tarzan 2013 worse is that it's so anticlimactic. You know what? I can't even decide of which one is worse. Because it seems as though that both of them are on par, but you know what? At least Tarzan 2013 managed to be unintentionally hilarious. Whereas with this, it was boring. So with that said, I personally have no choice but to give this, well, an undeserved 1 out of 5. The only thing that really saves this film is the music, and that's saying something. You know what? Screw it. I'm not even gonna mark it a 1 out of 5. I'm just gonna mark it a 0.5 out of 5. Yeah, I did it. It's only marked half a star because, yes, the music only saves it. The others just went to hell through its mediocrity. So yeah, this is just the worst, one of the worst things I've seen that has really stuck with mediocrity. And yes, the animation can be decent at times, but it's not enough to save it from its hackneyed story, hackneyed characters, and, well, lest I forget, those annoying pieces of shit, those fuckheads known as the Dossies. Yeah, I said it. The Dossies are the worst things I've ever seen, and yes, they may seem cute and cuddly, but my god, they are so goddamn annoying! And I have ranted enough about this damn film. Whatever you do, stay away from Khumba. It is not worth it for your children to be watching this. It's not even worth it for any animation fan to be watching this. If you really want your children to be, well, told of stories of, well, facing your differences, you might as well read them the story of Hans Christian Andersen's The Ugly Duckling. In fact, go ahead and make them see The Karate Kid, or something like this, but make them stay away from Khumba, aka this huge piece of zebra turd. Or, better yet, here's a better word for Khumba, a huge piece of elephant turd. Well, I've ranted enough on this film. And it sure is quite sad that, well, my flight from Paris to Buenos Aires, from Buenos Aires to Paris had to end on such a low note when it comes to animated films. But at least there was one film that I caught that was just land miles better than it, and it's live action. And it's all the way from the 70s, starring Woody Allen, and it's very iconic. Oh yes, we're talking about Annie Hall. So, even though it's already 12 midnight and I probably might have waken up some neighbors, and I do apologize in advance for all you neighbors out there, I can't really help it right now because I'm totally pissed at this film. But still, at least I might have something better to review for tomorrow. And maybe a few album reviews that I managed to listen while I was on the plane going from Buenos Aires to Paris. So until then, this is Antoni signing off, wishing you all a good night. And like I said, stay away from Khumba. It's not really worth your time.